morning, everyone. This is Nick Donnelly, and I'm here this morning on Continental Soccer TV with Ken Bastin, all the way in Antwerp. Ken, welcome to the CAS podcast.
Good morning, Nick.
So Ken, just really wanted to start off this morning, this interview, and we obviously have known each other it's been quite a while now. It's been
4 or 5 years, like that.
Yeah, and I think how I came to meet you was, I believe it was, I had a player that was training in Holland, and he actually came to you, but I wasn't with him, but he came with one of the guys I was working with in Rotterdam, and he came over to Antwerp, and that's when I first became aware of you as the coach, and I remember speaking to one of the guys and he said, "Yeah, Nick, you should meet this guy, Ken. You know, really, really cool guy, really, really good coach, and really likes young guys, really likes young players." And that's kind of when I first became known to you. But like I say, I just want to open it up and want to kind of go through, Ken, with you, like your early life, and just your football pedigree, just for everyone that's following us here on CAS TV.
Yeah, okay. So I'm Ken Bastin. I'm like at this moment I'm 47 years, and I played all my youth, all the academy, like you say, in England. I played for Royal Antwerp Football Club, the oldest team, the oldest club in Belgian football. So I became 8. I'm a member of a great football family in Belgium, especially in Antwerp. So I became 8 years. I signed my first card to be registered and to be a member of the federation in Belgium, and that was for Royal Antwerp. So, and I played from my 8 until my 21 to the reserves. So I played all the academy. I just didn't reach the full pro, but I played until the second team. That was the year '93 when we played the European Cup final in Wembley against Parma with Royal Antwerp. So, and that year I played in the second team. So I was playing all my youth in the academy of Royal Antwerp. So that was very, very, very good.
And so during that time, Ken, if kind of say, for example, we're growing up together, me and you, and we turn around, like who is Ken Bastin if we're in high school together?
Ken Bastin is football. Football is Ken Bastin. It's like that all my life. That's also because we're going to talk maybe later about the family, but I was born in that family, and everything in the family is about football. So, and everything is about Royal Antwerp. So it was normal. I was 8 years, and I signed the first card to be a member of the club, and I was playing there every day. My father was like a member of the board from the youth. My grandfather was for the first team team manager. So we were every day we were at Royal Antwerp. So I was playing there. Like a football, but also like a kid. I was playing with the boys, with the girls, with everyone there on the ground. So I was there every day. So it was a big time of my life. I was there at the Boswell Stadium. So also at school, sometimes it was well, sometimes it was a little bit less. But that was because I was always focused on football. I also played until my 18. I played for the national team from Belgium, from the Red Devils, from under 11, just under 18. So I was dealing with football every day, 24 hours a day.
Right. And so during so obviously if you're looking at obviously your family and obviously I suppose that transition from academy, so kind of if you look at like a lot of where Belgian football is. And kind of where your family was in proximity. So, because your family is real breeding with the club, obviously having all the generations of your family play for this club. So it's not just a club; it's a little bit more than that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more than that. Also, now my son is 9. When he sleeps in his room is red and white. So everything within our family is to the club. So it's unique because I think it's the only family in the world who is more than 110 years together with one football team, for one football club. So in 1911, my grandfather signed his first card. It was like 16, 17 years then, and he signed at Royal Antwerp because we're the oldest club in Belgium. We were founded in 1880. So in 1911, he signed the card. He became a player for the Royal Antwerp. Then was the first war, 1418, and then they went to England. They went to London. They escaped from Belgium. They went to London. So they were 4 years in London. And his little brother, Bastin, he was one of the best players in Belgian football. Also with of course in my club in Royal Antwerp, but also for Belgian football. And then he played from his 16 till 18. He played 2 years for Chelsea Football Club. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, they played 2 years for Chelsea, and then they came back to when the war was finished. They came back to Antwerp, and they played all together for Royal Antwerp. And I think they too, from 1918 until 30, 31, 32, they together they played again around 800 games for our club. So that's something.
Right. Okay. And so if you look at like Royal Antwerp, kind of going back to then, because I was actually looking, because when you look at the numbers, 1880s, if you look at the numbers and because you look at clubs around the world, and if you look, for example, at Glasgow Celtic, they're 1888, but the number, when you look at Royal Antwerp's numbers, those numbers are always noticeable. Always.
Yeah, always.
Yeah. 1880s are very, I don't know, they stick out more than any other number I've seen.
For us, it's very, very important, because it's also, I don't think you have it in England, because we have the number one, because we're the oldest in Belgium, so we were registered the first team in Belgium. So we have the number one. So in everything, in our logo, but also on our shirts, on our sweaters, on our hoodies, on everything, there's the number one and there's the 1880, because for us it's something special.
Absolutely. No, that is history. What were your parents like? What sort of influence did they really have on you? And if you look at what players need, what was it like for you in terms of them as role models? And what was that? Did that really help you? Explain to us kind of what impact they had on your life and your career.
I think it's like with a lot of young kids, where the father played or was in a club. So my grandfather always was there to support me, and my father was always there to support me. I was at that moment in the youth, I was a very good player, but they always wanted me to be better. And while I'm looking to my son now at this moment, I've got just the same. I'm there. I'm his greatest supporter. I love the boy, but when he's playing and he do something wrong, I'm sad. So I think it was a little bit the same with my father. It was when I played the game and I scored 3 goals. After the game, he said, "Okay, it was not bad, but the 4th year you could score also." So it's a bit. Sometimes it's positive. Sometimes it's not so positive. Maybe you can be a little bit more positive when the boy is doing something good. And that's I've a little bit the same with my son. So.
And that's the amazing thing is that your son Simon, he went on and he actually was in the academy. In fact, when I was over, I came to watch him, and I when I actually came to the club and I seen obviously you, and I seen the club, and I saw how family orientated it was, and that's when you only know what a club is, even when you see the people there. And that's one of the things that's what makes football so special, Ken, isn't it? It's like everybody speaks the same language. It's a really positive environment, and just the kids playing and seeing the local kids coming through. In fact, I think when I was there was a boy, and it's interesting. A sub was coming on. I think it was for Bocani, the striker, and literally he was coming off, and then there was a young kid from Antwerp coming on, and everybody was clapping. So when a local player, that local player aspect for a club is really important.
We try to bring them. It's not so easy, because the last 10 years the academy was not so strong. So now we're going better and better year after year. There's a philosophy. There's a little bit money. So we're doing well now with the academy, but I think we have to wait another 2-3 years to bring a local kid to the first team. But that's why we're working every day to bring that local boy. We had Geoffrey Hermans a few years ago. He scored one of the goals to get promoted. So he's now a legend in the club, because he always played for our youth academy. He became a professional player to the first team, and then he scored one of the goals to get promoted. He gave the assist to get promoted. So yeah, the boy, when he's coming to the club now, because now he's playing in KV Mechelen, but when he's coming on the field as not a player for us, but as the other player from KV Mechelen, but he comes on the pitch at Royal Antwerp, he get an applause. Everybody's standing up for him. So that's how it should be.
Right. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's good when we can actually see a lot of the local players coming through. But like you were saying, it's very, very difficult because obviously they have to be better than the players that are already in and around the first team, don't they? So there's a big dynamic. So Ken, so whenever we're looking at kind of your career, your playing career, what would you say is different between Royal Antwerp now and why you weren't able to progress to the first team to get a professional contract with Royal Antwerp at that time, which would have been the early 1990s?
Yeah. At that moment, there was not so many. They were not thinking very much about the youth at that moment. I have to be honest. Also, I'm an old-fashioned number 10, so I was playing when we had the ball. I was playing when we didn't have the ball. I didn't play. So maybe I was just not good enough also because I'm not the fastest on the field. So maybe it was just not enough to get the pro contract. It was possible at that time to bring some African boys to the club to get a trial or a test, and when they were good, to take them and then sell them to England or Turkey or Italy. That was more the philosophy of the club at that moment. To bring some African players and to sell them to raise some money. So at that moment, that was more important than bringing some young guys, some young lads. So
what players were in that team that ended up moving on? Any players that obviously went on to do well?
From my youth team?
Yes.
No, I think only one guy signed at that moment the contract for 1 year, and then it was finished. So there were not much players. So we had a good youth team under 21, under 23, under 18. But I don't think one of our players did get through to the first team.
In terms of when you were playing with the Belgian national teams, what age were you what age group did you play for? All the way from what age?
From under 11 just till under 18, I played for the national team.
Oh right, okay. And what would you say is the difference now compared to then, compared to playing for the Belgian national teams?
I think now there's more structure. I remember even when we were under 16, I think we played 1 or 2 games a year, and that was against the local team. If you see now the under 13, under 12, they go abroad. They play some big tournaments. They play every month. They play 1 game against another country. We didn't do that a lot. It was more like training sessions. And then 1-2 times a year we played the game.
Right. Okay. Once you left Royal Antwerp, where did you go from there?
I played in then I signed for Tottenham. That's like in the 2nd division, like in Championship in England. After I signed in 4th division, like in the League 2 in England. I played there 2 years, and then I played another 10 years, I think, in the first team of Maccabi. It's a Jewish team in Antwerp. And it's around the 6th level in Belgium. So I played there until my 31, 32, and then I became I get to school for my license to be a coach, a trainer, manager. So and then I became trainer.
And so see, once obviously that happened, what was who were kind of the people that you kind of learned from in Belgium during the 1990s, like the coaches who really influenced you as a player? What coaches would that have been that really you looked up to?
Yeah, I know when I was a player at Royal Antwerp in the 2nd team, we had always 2 sessions a day. One was in the morning with our coach from the under 23s. He was part-time at Royal Antwerp at that time. And in the afternoon we always had a session from the first team coach, a manager from the club, who played the Europa League final in Wembley. It was Walter Meeuws. He played also for Standard Liège. So he was a big name in Belgium. So every day we had a training session of Walter Meeuws. So for me that was something special and something to remember. Afterwards, when I was a coach, I worked a lot. Also after I worked with him, that was Reggie van Akker. He's also a famous Belgian coach who get promoted with Antwerp in 2000 while we worked together with Manchester United. So it was also still he's a very good trainer in Belgium, and I worked with him 4 years as an assistant coach from him. So I learned also a lot of the game from him too.
Wow, so really from your playing career into your coaching career, so you looked on him as like a real mentor.
Yeah, a little bit. Reggie was my mentor when I was during the school, the Federation Trainer School. And Walter Maisie was 1 year my coach in the afternoon for a session a day. But that was for us like 80, 90-year-old players, and the first team coach was there, the manager. So that was something special for us. So we liked it.
Right, no way. Obviously, being at Antwerp, and especially if you're looking way back to like 1993, because I remember watching that game. Because believe it or not, this is totally crazy. I was a big Parma fan. I know I used to follow Italian football. I always loved football on the continent. I used to watch football in Belgium, Holland, everywhere as a kid. You know, always had a deep interest in continental.
But they had a very good side at that moment.
Absolutely.
Playing with Ben Arrivo, Thomas Brolin, Asprilia, they were better than us. They had a very strong side, and they deserved to win the final. They were a little bit better, but for us it was an unbelievable experience with our first team. And with the second team, with reserves, we went. We took a bus. We slept in London. We went to the game. Went afterwards to drink something. It was for all the club, for the board, for the players, for the supporters, for everyone. It was a special day.
So obviously, if you've been at a club like that, and a club that's been that successful, getting to, for example, I think it was the cup. It was the Cup Winners' Cup, you know,
yeah.
Cup, which we could now call the Europa League for any millennials that are going to be watching this. And would you say so? Obviously, as you look at that, and you look at all of these great people that obviously have shaped you, they've shaped what the club really is. If you're looking at where Royal Antwerp are now as a club. So say you're a coach and say you're just joining Royal Antwerp for the first time. It's quite an exciting time then, because where the club is now, and they've also been taken over by Paul Gijsens.
Yes.
And what would you say? What would you say is really, if you look at from the 1990s to 2020, where would you say Royal Antwerp and within Belgium football, where they're going? What do you think that's going to look like in the next couple of years?
Where are we going? I hope we're going very high. We are always a club with tradition, a lot of supporters. I think the most in Belgium, although the noisy one. So we have a great club. There's a great atmosphere and a great history. So we did well, like in '93, playing the Cup Winners' final in Wembley, and then afterwards it went a little bit more difficult, and I think it's all about it's very simple, and it's in life, it's in football, it's in basketball, it's always the same. It's a little bit about money, and we were doing not so good the last 10 years, so there was not so much money. So I think 5 years ago we were almost bankrupt, and then Mr. Paul Gijsens from Galamco, he came to the club. He's wealthy, and but the most important thing, he has a philosophy to get back from the second division, the championship in England, to the first division in Belgium, like Premier League. So he had the philosophy, and he said, okay, we're coming now. We restart 2015. We restart with this fantastic club, and we're going to see a little bit like getting out of the championship, going back to the Premier League in Belgium. Then to stay there, then to become top 8, top 6 to play the playoffs in Belgium, and then to go step by step further top 3, and maybe in 2, 3, 4 years to be playing for the championship in Belgium, to be champions, and to go into the Europa League. We did last year. Now we're going back into Europe in the Europa League, and maybe when it's possible in 2, 3, 4 years, that's where we're going to. That's what we're working for, to go into the Champions League. That would be massive.
Right, and so because obviously Paul Gijsens, obviously he has a very big reputation because he's been in real estate for most, his whole family are real estate focused. You know what I mean? And it's interesting. Well, you know what's interesting? I was looking at, if you look at him as an owner, and if you look at, obviously you look at many people that own clubs. Like a lot of people can own a club, But
Yeah.
the thing that blew my mind away is he's designed stadiums as well.
Yeah.
Like the stadium in Brussels, which is it's super impressive.
Yeah.
And then he's done other sporting projects. Plus, he's done stuff in Poland and even London. He's doing a lot of stuff there as well. What would you say in terms of him as an owner and as the boss? What would you say? What has impressed you most about his philosophy and his leadership?
I think first of all, we the players, the coaches, but most of all the supporters, we have to thank the family guys, because they took Royal Antwerp as a project to become a big team, big squad, big club, another time in Belgium in Belgian football. So that's what they're doing now. They have the philosophy, they have the people to work for them. They know football. So I think for us it's the most important that they took Royal Antwerp as a project, and now he's very big in Belgium. So Galamco is a very, like you say, in real estate. They're doing great business. So I think it's great for Belgian football, but most of the time it's great for us, like Royal Antwerp fans, supporters.
Do you think kind of as what he's done in terms of from the whole club, where he's making it a sustainable model? Because obviously in continental Europe, I think one of these people don't understand. It's not like the Premier League in England where you've got loads of TV money, you've got all of that. Just if you look at the finances are very, very different.
Yeah.
What would you say in terms of? I know you were speaking to me recently, and this gives people an understanding. And it was a player from Southampton who was going to come, and I think because I remember even reading it online. But Southampton, they were wanting obscene amounts of money, and you can't pay for a player, 5, 6, even 8 million euros. You know what I mean? To come to
That's
Belgium.
Difficult.
Yeah,
Belgium difficult in Belgium.
And so, what would you say, Ken, in terms of the player? What type of a player are Royal Antwerp trying to from the academy? So from the 18s to the 23s to the first team, what sort of a profile of player are they looking at from a value perspective? Do you think, in terms of trying to attract that type of player to come to the club?
If we're searching, or we want, first of all, we want to bring them to the club at the age of 12, 13, 14, and then we want to work with get a lot of good youth coaches, also professional in the club. So we most of the time we'd like to bring them from our own, work with them 4, 5, 6, 7 years to become player of the under 18, under 23, and then go up to the first team. That's what we want. If we bring in someone. Of course, it has to be a talented player. That's the most important. That's what we want, a very talented player. But I think for Royal Antwerp, it's because that's a little bit our club. We are also the people who work there, the coaches and things like that. Also the people in the club. Royal Antwerp is like a club who wants, also the supporters are so. We want to work hard. So we are a club from. We have the port in Antwerp. Everybody's working there 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours to become a season holder tickets. So everybody's working, and that's what the supporters also want on the field when the players are out. They want everybody to 95 minutes to work. If there's a very talented number 10, okay, that's good. But we most of it, we'd like a strong player, like Richie Delat at this moment. He's maybe not the most technical player in the world, but he's playing 90 minutes with his heart for the club, and I think that's what we need in Royal Antwerp. There are a lot of other teams in Anderlecht. They like very technical, skilled players, and that's good. I like it also. But Royal Antwerp is, when you come on the field, you start a game. Are you playing under 11, under 18, under 23, or the first team? When the referee is whistling. We want you to play 100% with your heart, and you have to work 95 minutes. If you lose the game, okay, then it's like that. You go to the supporters, to the crowd, and they will take you like a hero because you did 95 minutes your job. And also for us, like coaches, the same. we're working a lot. We're working very hard to get something out of it, out of the players. So that's our in Belgium we say the DNA. I don't it's the same like in England. Yeah, DNA. So that's the DNA of our club. So we have to work very hard and try to do the best you've got in yourself.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Because when you look at the culture of a club, and I think when you walk into some clubs, Ken, and you've probably seen this, you probably worked into certain clubs and thought, I don't know the DNA, I don't know what the culture here is. When you've gone into other clubs, and I think when you're at a club like Royal Antwerp, you can tell when you walk in there, there's a real culture of people. Yeah. It's very family. It's family driven, and so I think if you're a player. I obviously had two boys come in. For example, you had obviously one of the players from two lads from Northern Ireland came in, and they always said it was the second one. He said it was very family orientated. He said it was very family orientated. But he also said at the end when he didn't get taken on, he was like, "I didn't work hard enough." So going back to what you're saying, the DNA. Is the work ethic. And so when you're looking at, for example, when Paul Geisens, when he's looking at the DNA of a player, if you look up in the first team, for example, I watched I think it was Bukani, who used to play for Hull City and Dynamo Kiev. He obviously, when you look at him and you say to yourself, oh, he doesn't move very much. He doesn't move very much. But when he does move, he makes it count. So I suppose, would you say...
Bokani is 33, 34. So when he knows when he has to move at the right moment. It was now the top goal scorer in Belgium, 18, 19 goals. So that's a different kind of player because he's so experienced. He knows that at the right moment to go into the space, and then he knows also the moment he has to rest and to do nothing on the field. But when he's moving, when he's going into the 16, he's so dangerous. He's one of the most talented players in Belgium. So this year,
he made a lot of it. He's had a lot of experience in the Champions League, hasn't he, with Dynamo Kiev, and he's got a pretty good record, hasn't he? So, and then I suppose he's a good role model for players from the academy when they're looking up and they're like, right, I want to be where he is. Ken, we really appreciate your time today. It's been a real learning curve for me. You know what I mean? Just to listen to a lot of the stuff that you're obviously talking about.
I'd like one time to come over to the CES and talk about with everything about football and maybe give some class. I'd like to.
Absolutely, yeah, no, absolutely. We'll look forward to having you, and I think obviously working with a lot of our coaching team, like, you know what I mean. I think it'll be really, really good. So if anybody wants to come out and learn from Ken will be running coaching clinic with Graham Ricks, the legendary Chelsea coach who's worked with Gianluca Vialli. In fact, we're actually going to be doing a coaching clinic with obviously Luca Vialli, Graham Ricks. And Ken Bastin, along with Michael Dewberry, former Chelsea centre half. So I think there's going to be a lot of good stuff. So anybody that wants to know more about that can definitely get in touch with us. You can also visit our website www.continentalaspiresoccer.com, and also to learn more about Ken when he obviously will come out, and we'll be doing a Q&A as well. So Ken, thank you so much for your time today. It's been great, and we'll catch up. We'll catch up very soon.
Okay, everybody stay healthy in the UK, and hope to see you one time.